Hi, everybody. This is Nannette Kennedy with Humanities Team and the Evolution Revolution. And we're glad for the people who are here and for those that listen to the recordings, we're glad that you are part of this program, even though you're not here with us at the moment. Anyway, we're reading The Only Thing That Matters by Neale Walsch, and Lynda is our reader, and she's a very good reader at that. And I'm going to let her take over from here while I try to find my Kindle cord so that I can read along. Take it away.
Okay, hi everybody. Okay, so we're reading The Only Thing That Matters, which is Conversations with Humanity, Book 2 by Neale Walsch. We're on chapter 37, which starts on page 79, or no, sorry, we're 79% of the way through, and we're on page 181. The first gift. And so with these 5 marvelous tools, you are now able to, at last, to take your mind off of the 98% of things that really don't matter in your life. These include how much money you earn, what people think of you, whether your work is done, what your sexual orientation is, how many mistakes you've made, whether you have your finances planned, where you will be in 10 years from now, which stocks to buy, why the dining room should have cream-colored walls, if it's time to install new carpeting, what car to get, how to invite some people to your party and not others without hurting feelings, even though in truth, you don't want the others there, where to store the boxes, are the grapes organic, what religion to follow, what political party to join, which pants to wear with what top, should you cut your hair, why to make the bed every day, how to make the bed, how to make more friends, how to get rid of the ants, how to work the remote, what's for dinner, whose turn is it to take the garbage out, are you having an affair, and the 1001 other things that are not listed here, but that crowd your mind every single day of your life, to the point where it's been months, literally months, since you've asked yourself, how can I best serve the agenda of my soul? How can you what? How can I best serve the agenda of my soul? What in the world is that? And what does that have to do with how we're going to pay the mortgage? Or with Matilda's pregnancy? Or, good God, get your head out of the clouds. And that's how real life can get in the way. That's how what's happening now can look like it has nothing to do with your eternal journey. That's how everything that's going on outside can feel like an obstacle to everything that's wanting to go on inside. And there's no way you'll be able to use any of those tools consistently, if at all, unless you first give yourself a special gift. A soul knowing God wants for you what you want for you. This gift precedes all tools and creates the space for you to be able to use them. It's the very first gift you must give yourself on the sacred journey. It's your ticket to ride. Many people have sought to find a way to experience the fullness of who they are by taking the path of the soul, yet in critical moments of their lives, they have been resistant to stepping onto that path. They know what the path is, or at least surely have some idea about it, but they may find in that critical moment that they do not wish to release a particular negative emotion that they are experiencing. Or they may be ready to release their negativity, but they find it difficult to surrender fully to the divine purpose and to embark with total commitment on the sacred journey. These reactions are not uncommon. People sometimes can feel good, feeling bad. So the first gift you have to give yourself, if you want any of the tools you have been shown here to work, is very, very important. You must be in the possession of this gift if you're going to see the potential of changing a moment, much less your life, to say nothing of actually doing it, using the wonderful tools that life has given you. The gift you must give yourself is willingness. This is the essential ingredient in any truly transformational experience. Without it, nothing we have talked about here will be possible. With it, everything we've described here and more can occur. So how does one move into willingness? It's a choice. It is quite literally an act of will. To engage it, one must have willpower. One must really understand what is meant by the phrase free will. One must free one's will. Your will and God's will are one. This is another way of saying that God wants for you what you want for you. It is also true that what you want for you at the deepest part of your being is what God wants for divinity itself. Divinity and humanity want the same thing, the highest expression of life that is possible and conceivable in any given moment. Because divinity and humanity are the same thing. Yet your human will can be, in a sense, imprisoned. You can be closed off, shut down, locked in, trapped by one's view of life, by a stubbornness to give in to love, by a refusal to use the tools of life that you've been given. You can, for sure, build your own jail, step into it, and close the door behind you. People do it all the time. Resentment, anger, fear, self-righteousness, and closed-mindedness are the roads they take to their own penitentiary. People sadly and mistakenly think these pathways will get them to where they earnestly yearn to go, a place of safety. That's all that any of us can really think about when we're coming from the small self. All that our little one wants is safety. We want protection, finally, from life. We've had enough sadness. We've had enough suffering. We've had enough of being attacked, of being made wrong, of being overwhelmed. Enough already, enough. And so we close the drawbridge, circle the wagons, batten down the hatches, retreat to the fortress of our mind's limited experience. At least it's familiar territory. At least it's common ground. At least it feels safe for the moment. It may not be fun. It may not be very exciting. It may not offer the glory of arms wide open expansion of the joy of heart wide open love, but it's safe. Or is it? Soon, while sitting in this metal bunker, we find that we've not gone to a safe house after all, but to a jailhouse. We see that while we thought we were going to be safe, the people here are always angry and afraid. The energy we are trying to get away from is the energy we feel now more than ever. Meanwhile, the people who have escaped now feel totally secure in the arms of larger love. You may not be in this jail right now. It is hoped that you are not. But even a bit of what you've read here has brought you sufficient reminders to get you out of your imprisonment. Yet wherever you are right now, if you look around, you will notice that most people have not fully understood the phrase free will. Their current thought is not combined with their present awareness. You can now always tell if you have slipped back into that place yourself. It is when your current thought is not connected to your eternal awareness, when your mind is not combined with your soul. It is when your current thought is negative. If your thought is a negative one, you are without question coming from your mind alone. You know this because the soul, where eternal awareness resides, is incapable of negativity of any kind. It knows too much. It is too much. It is infinite, while the mind is finite. Current thought can, of course, also be positive. Not all thought is negative. The mind can be either negative or positive, depending quite literally on the mood of the moment. The soul, on the other hand, is incapable of such duplicity. The eternal awareness arising from the soul will, therefore, never produce negative energy of any kind. Your mind, on the other hand, will produce an unsupplying end of it. Yet stand where the mind and soul come together, and the soul's positivity converts whatever negativity the mind at any moment hold, using gratitude, recontextualization, compassion, forgiveness, and meditation. These tools cause the sheer uplifting power of the positive to supersede the draining energy of the negative. But none of it will happen, none of it, without you first entering fully into willingness. We can become lighter and lighter. We can pull from the soundless sound. We can sit completely still in movement. We can open every cell as wide as it can open. How you say, and I dare say, by willingness first. Then faith in the unbelievable, by perseverance beyond your idea of it. Then by layer upon layer of patience. Now grace moves through unannounced. Now the unimaginable miracles, then darkness, the womb, gestation, birth, then light, then willingness again. And that was Willingness by not by M. Claire. End of chapter.
I'm coming. I just found my cord. So I was listening to most of that. Would anybody like to start?
Well, I'll just say, for those of that haven't been here for the entire reading, the chapter started with the 5 tools. These are the 5 tools: gratitude, recontextualization, compassion, forgiveness, and meditation. He doesn't get to it till right at the end. He doesn't recap them, but that's what the 5 tools are that the chapter starts out referring to. Over.
Thank you.
Mirko?
I think that interrupt me if I speak too much, but I think that this chapter, like the other chapters, but this particular chapter is very, very important because before of this meeting, I was talking with a woman that is a coach, etc. And by coincidence, but there are no coincidences in the universe, she was asking me how it's possible to join the spiritual and the physical, because she said we have to make counts with the reality. We have to pay bills. We have to survive. And this book is telling in the very beginning that survival is not our instinct, our basic instinct. I dare you, if you haven't didn't do this before, to try to explain to another person that the survival instinct is not our basic instinct. I get it completely in my life, as you know from the past meeting. But this chapter is saying that it's not about our survival or our mind. It's about our soul. And the 5 tools that Lynda was saying, I think that 98% of the world people don't know about these tools. Especially, it's strange to say, because the next week will be the Thanksgiving, I think, in United States. But gratitude, I don't know very much people who apply this. Recontextualization, that is decide, as we have seen in prior chapters, decide that we are spiritual beings, not physical. So my provocation for you for this discussion is, as I said to this person before this meeting, this one is a young woman like me, and he's a coach, and he's I don't know how to say in English, an individual practice, an entrepreneur like some of you, I think. So she is in fear sometimes, because I am an architect, I am a professional. It's like being an entrepreneur in some kind of way. I don't think that I have to survive. And as you know, I don't think that I have to win. I think that this book probably is one most important than the Bible, because, so to speak, because if we think that there is a whole world that we have, we as humanity, not we in this group, that we have to do, that is to recontextualize all our beliefs, all the beliefs. First of all, that we have to accomplish something to please God. And he'll say this many times, because we think that we have to have success, but what is success for you? What is? Pay the bills, and the person, this girl was saying me, I have to buy a new car. I don't know if you remember in the book, Neale say that many of us was growing up by the belief that we have to get the car, get the girl, get the money, This is the fundamental question. This is, we can talk 1 year, 100 of years about everything. But if we believe that we are physical beings, we miss the point of life. We miss the point simply. If I remember Jesus said something in the Bibles, like if you're worried to die, you die. But if you don't worry to die, you live. I think it is similar like this chapter, the invitation. The invitation is, but I don't know how many people really read the books of Neale Donald Walsch. I read every books, every of the 39 books, everything in Italian and in English. And I get it completely now, today. It's revolutionary. It's revolutionary because if we don't fear that, the world will change tomorrow. The reality is that, like this person that incredibly is a coach, so she is supposed to help other people. I don't know how you can help another person if you can't help yourself. I don't know, but we have to change our mind, really, not other people's mind, our mind, first of all, and making programs like this, talking about this with you. We are 8 people now, but we will see in the future how many of us we speak about. I think many of us in the future, because I don't fear that. I fear live in a way like many people do, that is living that. And the most important of this tool is the first 2 are the most important. First of all, gratitude, even if the situation is negative, because you are not your mind, you are your soul first. But I don't know if people know anything about the soul. I think we have to change our school, because no school, no government talk you about your immortality. This is the problem, not the COVID. The fear is the problem of the COVID. We don't know that we are energy. We can project our energy in the outer world and change the world. I know this. I have to be grateful for Neale and his work. But how many of us know these things? Recontextualization is nobody knows about recontextualization. I think that people go to church, but don't really hear what Jesus was saying. Jesus was saying that we can't die. This is a chapter very powerful for me, because I was thinking to the person before this meeting, and I remember 1 hour ago, I was at the end of all these things, I said that I said this to her, like Neale said to me, your survival is not an issue. You will live forever. And she answered to me, yes. This is her answer. I don't know what's yours. I finished.
Thank you. Would anybody like to add to that?
I'll just say, just for clarification's sake, that survival is not our soul's agenda, but it is our housing's agenda. It's the agenda of the body that we reside within, and it's the function of the ego. That's the primary function of the ego, is to keep us alive and keep us safe. That's the wiring.
Yes.
So when we know human nature is when there's a burning building or a car accident or something, humans do not run away, they run towards it. That's when our souls are really functioning. That's when our human nature, our true human nature shows, is the compassion that we have. Someone needs help, we're going. We don't stop to think about it, we just go. Our bodies, on the other hand, have a whole nother agenda. And that's I don't know if you saw, I was nodding my head when you said we have to change our schools, because that's exactly what I say all the time. We're not teaching children the truth.
Yes,
We're not
yes,
teaching them what they are. We're not teaching them about their housing, and that they know it. When they're little, they already know it. And
I
then
think it's. I think Lynda is for social control for me, in my opinion.
exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's also exactly what religion is. It's a
Yes,
form of
exactly.
control. It's a form of
Yes.
control. So society, we're stuck in societies that are based on principles of control, not truth.
Yes, and not love, and not
Well,
love.
No,
It's the
never
opposite.
will.
The opposite.
Right. Because the people who needed to make the controls had already forgotten their true nature.
Yes, and are the leaders of our world today.
Right.
Not the
Thank you.
messengers, but the leaders.
Right.
Thank you, Linda. Anybody else want to add to that? Were you going to say something, Mary?
Not really. Lynda basically covered what I was going to touch on. So better than I would have done. Mwah.
Well, you did a very good job of unpacking that information.
In my opinion, Nannette, in my opinion, this program is useful if we continue to talk about this and share this in the internet. And the behavior is the only way to change something, because talking and our behaviors, our life, because I don't believe that we can change the school. People don't want really something a different. People say that want a new world, but say is one thing and do is another thing. People behavior is like Jesus said. Jesus said this: your deeds reveals your intention. I think it was ahead of time, Jesus, because very ahead of time. Even today, the real Jesus, not the religion Jesus, the real Jesus. I don't belong to any religion, but I understand very well Jesus. He's simple the message. I remember Jesus say, "Love each other. This is the only commandments. Only one, and the only one commandments we do not apply."
I want to add something to that, because our housing that does, like what Linda was saying, the automatic, no time to think about it. It's almost like a firehouse with all the fire department. They move, they act, they don't take time to discuss, they go. And I realize that's their job, but they have a passion for what they do. And as human beings, and I think I've brought this up before, I'm always just feel so good inside when I see a family of geese and their goslings, or a turkey and their turklings, whatever they're called, and they're walking across a busy street, and every single car stops. So it makes me know that people have this in them. And I'm not going to say that there hasn't been, I haven't witnessed it, thank goodness, but I'm sure there are some people that would think it was funny to mow down a family of life. And I have not seen that happen. And I've been around for a while. And I think that part of our housing, and when we're not living from the soul consciously, is when we worry. And I can tell you all about it because this last couple of months of me have been filled with it, about whether I was going to have a place to live, whether I was going to end up homeless. Yeah. And that's so far from my human experience. I've always had a place to live. I own my own home for 35 years. And now I find myself in this place where, because of my health and finances, it's a whole different world. And I have been in such a state of worry, and I keep repeating to myself that worrying is not going to change this situation. So why am I doing it? And I think it's just habitual in our society. And so I've been asking God, the angels, the saints, my parents who are no longer living, anybody I've ever known that's not living, to please be by my side, because it's a frightening time for me. And that's not even going into what's wrong with the world. Over.
Nannette, may I just speak to that for a moment?
Yes.
Because I have been, I have been in some financially insecure positions where I was in that same position of like, how is this going to work out? Because I couldn't see the way forward, and I've been very lucky and benefited from the generosity and kindness of ever so many people in my life. Really ridiculous. People are incredibly generous with me, and I appreciate that. And that's the only reason that I have a place to live right now, frankly. But about the worry thing, like I read something a long time ago, when you feel yourself feeling that need to worry, just kind of try to convert it to sending blessings to what you're worrying about, just to change the energy a little bit. So, and honestly, I mean, it's going to sound, but just focus on, as much as possible, trusting, I know, the universe has your back, and keeping the faith. So like when you're worrying, just try to remember, I don't know how this is going to work out, but I know we got this, and whatever happens is going to be the right thing. The more we trust that we don't have to know the way, and just know somehow, some way, the way will open. I don't know. I think I had something else to say, but just, I feel you in your insecurity, and it's very scary, and I think that that's the thing that we need to remember, is we can say the soul's agenda and the housing, blah, blah, but yes, fear of survival and the housing and all of that, it's very real for the housing, and the housing is our housing. It's a big part of who we are. So, there's nothing wrong in feeling terrified. It's just recognizing that that's not the only reality, that's like the physical. And then that there's all the rest of it. And you have so much love and support from all those people you're asking for it, all your angels and past ancestors and friends and stuff,
I appreciate that, Mary.
Yeah.
I really do.
I honestly, I have used the mantra a lot. I love life. Life loves me. We're a happy family. It's silly. It's like Barney or something, but it has me a lot in those moments when I'm, riding the waves and waiting to see where on the shore I get dropped.
Well,
and
it's funny because this morning, before this meeting, obviously, I had written something very short, and I'm not going to even read it all, but one of the things I have said in this, and it's directed to the Holy Spirit. And when I pause and think of all my blessings I interrupt the senseless dwelling of the chaos sprinting through my mind. And I know from life's experiences, worry has never changed a thing. And I need to like pinch myself when I'm thinking that way, because I know in my heart that God's breath is my breath.
Right.
And I just keep plugging along and one thing at a time. And before I call on you, Mirko, Romy, were you gonna say something?
I was just listening, but as you asked me, yeah, I think it's helpful that to always, for me, it's always with what you talked about, Nannette, when you come in this, when we come in the state of fear and so, that we just, I think, becoming aware of that we are just not our body, that it's just our housing, and that we, after some time, that we can comfort ourselves and to bring ourselves down and to understand. I think that helps me a lot.
And
Yeah.
that helps me. And another thing that's helped me, and then I'll call on Mirko again. And I don't know if any of you have noticed this on my Facebook page, but on my profile picture, it's me about 9 years ago. I love that picture, can't help it. But I found, well, it's serendipitous. I found this picture of me of when I was about 3 years old. And that 3-year-old Nannette is sitting and she's looking up to somebody.
Oh.
And I put that picture in the same picture as myself now. And I stop and think, what would little me want?
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
So you did a split screen profile?
No, it's I made the picture. I messed with them on like a Photoshop thing.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I blended one photo in with the other.
Oh, you blended it. Nice.
Yeah, and when I thought of it, it was powerful. And then when I did it, I was like, oh my God, little me is looking up to me,
It's really cool.
you know.
Beautiful.
So
That's on your homepage on
Yeah.
Facebook?
yeah, and then that's
I'm gonna go look right now.
Oh, send it to me. I'm not on Facebook. Can
yeah,
you?
I can send it to you, but I'm not gonna do it right this minute.
No, I didn't say right this minute.
No, I know.
Whenever
I'm just
next
letting
week or whatever.
yeah, no, I'll send it to you. It's
Cool.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, where you've inset the picture from when you were little.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
adorable.
thank you. Anyway, it's really helped me. Because that little me is still there, you know, and I think that's something we forget a lot is of our own innocence.
Innocence.
Exactly. Anyway, Mirko, what were you going to add?
I can only invite you and everybody, and if some people watch the YouTube recording of this, that not just for talking about Neale Donald Walsch, because I have no interest of any kind with him, but his work is complete work has all the answer to our question. And in the last few days, in his program, Advanced Integration, etc., CVG, a person was asking him Neale, how can I explain to other people that we don't need to eat, we don't need to breathe, we don't need the air, we don't need to survive? How can I explain to people this? Neale waited for a moment, like he say he do all the time, and answer to this person. Well, if you think that you are your body, that you are a physical being, you can't explain to another person this. But if you think that you are a soul with that has a body, and this is only a particular form that you are in this life, is only one particular form, and that if you come will come here another hundreds of thousands of times, you don't need to survive. So this is the recontextualization that we're talking about. And this, I can suggest if a person want to really explore this, to read the book On We God about Neale, that talk about that. And this book, I don't know really if people read the book, really buy the book, but I don't know if they read the book, because millions of people read the books of Neale, but how many of them understand really the message? Because the message is not to make money, get the car, get etc., etc., etc. The message is similar to Jesus, that we are individuation of God. If we don't believe really, if we don't will, we are talking about willingness today. If you don't will to be an individuation of God, I think that you believe in a minor God, not in God. This is I understand that what I am saying is very strange. I suffered. I am 40 years old, and I suffered in the last 20 years more than 20 trials in my country, in Italy. So I think that I understand something of what I am talking about survival, etc. I suffered only one condemnation over more than 20 trials. An injustice, because it's absolutely not true, like I said before. But I realized in that moment that wasn't a bad news, really, because like this book is saying, all the challenges are opportunity. Challenge is not the correct word, are opportunities for us to demonstrate who we really are. So in my case, I have also today, I have my trials and other trials, other three. So, but I don't worry. I am peaceful, really, because I know that are three big opportunity to practice compassion. This is who I really am. Not Mirko, not my work, not my. This is only, this book is really, really powerful if someone really read this book, because I am wondering if people read the books, they buy the book, they read probably one sentence, and they say to Neale in the treats, I read your books. No, I don't think people don't read the book, read some sentence.
Let me get in here. Let me get in here for a second. Because I want to give anybody else the opportunity to comment on what you said. And Anne, did you have something?
Yes, oh, sorry. Thank you very much, Mirko. Mirko, I haven't read all the books and I haven't read everything either. I'm just trying to understand as I go along. But going back to and live it as well. I mean, obviously live it, live what I'm turning into. Going back to Nannette's situation and the survival and the fear and the feeling of not having a home. What I understand is a practical thing is you prepare for the worst and you hope for the best, you trust in the best, and nevertheless you're organized for the worst. I'm doing that myself, sort of packing up kind of thing in a way, or seeing what's important for me, but trusting that it's usually from some very unexpected place that help comes. Very, very unknown. And what I found myself, if I quieten myself into it, just quieten down, let it be, just drop the load and let it be for a while. A couple of days or 3 days later, something opens. That's just what I've got to say on a practical level. And the other thing is, like, I think our soul is like the child that you put in your picture, that little 3-year-old, and just up until 3, was living her soul. Her soul was bounding out, skipping. And as we grow up, it's like that soul, well, I speak for myself, has been bashed down a lot. It's been bashed, and it's frightened and it's fearful to come out again. But to bring what's in the background, it's always living there, but to bring that to the foreground and put the fears and stuff in the background, that would be maybe a helpful thing. Okay, that's what I hope I'm understood. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yes, thank you. And we're coming to the end of the hour. And I wanted to, is the next chapter the last one?
Let me look.
I think it is, but I'm not sure. My Kindle is in the dead zone.
Well, it says we're 80% done, but no, it's not the last chapter.
There are at least 3 more.
I was gonna say chapter 40.
And there's a bunch of blank pages, and then there's an afterword and an addendum.
The next chapter.
So it's like about 3 chapters, then an afterward, and
The next
an
chapter is about the basic instinct.
Well, we'll all
And
get to
before
that.
we go on, I have to add something,
Yes,
Nannette.
yes, go ahead.
I just think, and I'll come back what Mirko said about reading and going through books. And so it might be one thing, but I very much believe, and my inner knowing very much tells me in these times, it's very important to apply it. And even I think it's even what we find, if we are really connected, then we also get the knowledge that's important for us on this channel. It's not always to find in books. And so I think there is so much knowledge around, but knowledge alone doesn't change our lives. I think our lives are really changed by trying to apply, observing ourselves, do it again, and do it again. And making a pace, making it something applied into every day, because otherwise we get brains like this, but little humans walking around. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you. That was very well said. And the reason I asked about the book, just as an FYI. The next book we're going to read, which will probably be within the next couple of weeks, maybe 3 at the most, is What God Said. Am I correct on that?
I believe so.
Okay. Oh, there you've got it. And I just packed all my books away. But I might have it on my Kindle. We'll see. But we're going to be reading that next, and I have read it before, and I really enjoyed it. Anyway, I really enjoyed it. So with that, Miss Mary does our closing. Would you like to begin?
Sure. Thank you to the universe, God, whatever you call, if you believe in some kind of higher thing that connects us, for bringing us all together in this circle. It's such a sacred experience every week, sharing this talk with people who understand. Like, yes, some people might buy the book and read it and put it aside or not finish it. Other people will read it and not apply it. You know, and here we are in this circle where we are reading it and talking about it and trying to bring it into how we live our lives. And this is how the change happens, right? Each of us individually incorporating our soul into our daily stuff, right? I was going to say our daily survival, but it's like our daily program that includes survival and also includes spiritual enhancement. I don't know what to call it. But here we are sharing that with people who we can talk like this with, and what a special thing that is, who understand, who get it, who are like on the same page of learning and remembering. It's really remembering, you know, that we are spiritual beings, that we have this physical housing. No disrespect to the housing, because it's how we're here in the physical. We need it to experience what we're experiencing here in this life. And remembering that there's more than that, and that we can go beyond that. And beyond that, you know, we are all connected in the grid. And that's why when we see someone threatened, when we're in that place, we understand that that's us, right? It's all us. There's no one out there who's not a part of us. And when we live our life from that perspective, everything changes. When we understand the connectedness and the interwoven threads and just the oneness of everything, then we can have faith that life is unfolding as it's meant to, that we're being held and lifted and supported by the loving togetherness of the universe. And we can have faith in places, you know, like where Nannette is hoping for a place to live that will be supportive and comfortable and, you know, a safe landing place. You know, it's like we're never 100% safe in these physical bodies. They can die, but the universe is always holding us. And from that soul perspective, we are always safe and loved and held and taken care of. So that's a good thing to remember this week, I think. Thank you all. Love you all.
Thank you, Mary. Love you all. And Walter, I hope you come back as we are starting a new book in a couple of weeks. Because it's hard.
Thanks for having me this week.
Oh, you're welcome. We're glad to have you.
Yes.
And I know it's kind of hard to come in at the tail end of a book. But we actually have a couple people that are almost every week that didn't come today. Ariana and Bima didn't show up. But last week I noticed that Bima was signing in when we were finished.
Oh.
So
It's the time change.
yeah. So if she does it again, I will write to her and let her know. So anyway, I love you all and thanks for hearing me out. And thank you, Mirko, for your deep wisdom on Neale's books. And thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Kirsten. Thank you, Walter. Thank you, Anne. And thank you, Romy. See you all next week.
And
You
Lynda.
then.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. And Lynda.
Yep.
Love you all.
Bye.
Bye.